A very good evening and a warm welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight on this 23rd day of January 2025. I'm Laurny Masika Kazimoto, together with my colleague Muhammad Mugalu on sign language interpretation. We start off with the top stories tonight. In our top stories tonight, over 30 to be decorated at NRM's 40th Liberation Anniversary celebrations. Kampala residents lay out the expectations of the new Lord Mayor. Shout out in Namutumba's independence win, all MP races. And NCS gives non-complaint federation 5 months to adhere or else face penalties. Good evening once again. Uganda is set to commemorate a major milestone marking 40 years since the NRA movement took power. The Minister for Presidency, Babidi Babalanda, says the celebrations are expected to be a grand affair, bringing together citizens, government officials and other stakeholders to reflect on the country's progress and look towards the future. Over 30 people are expected to be awarded with different medals as appreciation for their unmatched service to the country.
26th January 2026 will mark 4 decades since the National Resistance Army, that later became the National Resistance Movement, began its journey to transform the country.
I think this is a fundamental change in the politics of our country.
The NRM's 4 decades in power have seen significant achievements in security, socio-economic transformation, education and healthcare.
When the NRM took power, it embarked on the rehabilitation of the economy and adopted the policies of liberalization and reformation of the public institutions. As a result, the revenue collection capacity has improved. It was recently ranked 7th by the International Monetary Fund, that is IMF, among the fastest growing 9 economies in the world.
President Museveni's re-election for the 7th term will also be highlighted.
This year's celebrations will be unique because they are happening at the time when candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has just been voted into office of the president for his 5th term with a resounding win of 71%.
The Minister for Presidency, Babidi Babalanda, contends that as NRM, corruption is one of the dents as regards to governance.
Actually, we don't have failures. What we have is challenges. Challenges like corruption, but we are managing it with the courts of law and the IGG and other offices concerned fight corruption accordingly.
The 40th anniversary of the National Resistance Army Liberation Day, to be hosted at Kolo Independence Ceremonial Grounds, will bring together citizens, government officials and stakeholders to reflect on progress and look towards the future.
Uganda's transformation journey is unstoppable, and the massive gains so far attained can only be consolidated for the great good of Ugandans. Happy 40th NRA Victory Day anniversary celebrations to all Ugandans.
Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
There was sorrow and grief as hundreds of mourners gathered at the Pentecostal Assembly of God Church in Lira City to pay their last respects to the late Ngora District Woman Member of Parliament, Stella Apolot Isodo. Emotions ran high as leaders, Christians, family members, friends and supporters received her body at the church, describing her as a pillar of justice and a strong champion for women. The late legislator passed away on Saturday, January 17, 2026 at a Kampala-based hospital after a prolonged illness.
A requiem service for the late Stella Apollo Isodo was held at PAG Church Sorority City Assembly, drawing mourners from across Teso sub-region and beyond. The deceased served as the Ngora District Woman Member of Parliament after being elected in 2021 on the Forum for Democratic Change ticket. The Bishop of Pentecost Assemblies of God, Sorority Assembly, Bishop Matthew Magor, called upon mourners to remain mindful of their words during moments of grief. Bishop Magor urged mourners to trust in God even in times of loss.
Here, which type of talk are you promoting?
The chairperson of the organizing committee, Charles Peter Opolot, thanked mourners for standing with the family and honoring the life of the fallen legislator. Reverend Engineer Julius Apedun, principal of the Church of Uganda Vocational Training Institute, Sorority, prayed for peace, strength and comfort of the bereaved family, especially the children.
Our sister Isodo has gone to be with you because you have decided. And Lord, I want to thank you all that has come to encourage us. And Lord, it shows us that you have power over death. May we mourn in you because we believe that Lord, she will rise again one day. Because she rose again. So Lord, we want to pray for all the entire country. We pray for these children.
Among the mourners present were Sorority City West MP-elect David Calvin Echodu, who also doubles as the Vice Chairperson NRM Eastern Region, Teso Presidential Advisor Teddy Acham, Dakabela County MP-elect Peter Edopo, Sorority City East MP-elect Moses Atan Okia, former Minister for Teso Affairs Jeff Okiror, Kakise Bus Company proprietor Dan Okiror, Bishop Tukey and other dignitaries. The burial ceremony for the late legislator is scheduled for Saturday at her ancestral home in Osigiria Village, Ngora Town Council, Ngora District. She is survived by her husband, Council Samuel Isodo, and 3 children. Charity Marion Imnat and Among Salme, reporting for UBC News.
Drama ensued at the Wakiso District Tally Center as the Electoral Commission returning officer for Wakiso District, Tolbert Musinguzi, was declaring NRM's Ian Chaine as the duly elected LC5 chairperson of Wakiso District. Amid tight security, moments after the returning officer picked up the microphone to declare the winner, Noops Nasif Naja jumped up and grabbed the microphone, facing off with security operatives.
The candidates who contested for Wakiso District LC5 chairperson seat include Flavian Nakafel of Democratic Front, Engineer Ian Chain of the National Resistance Movement, and Nasifun Najja of the National Unity Platform. Wakiso District, which has over 1.4 million registered voters, conducted elections across 27 sub-counties. By early afternoon, results from only 12 sub-counties had reached the Wakiso District Tally Center, according to the returning officer, Tolbert Musinguzi. The race remained tight between NRM's Ian Chaine and NOPO's Nasifun Najja as both candidates waited for final results from the remaining 15 sub-counties. At around 3:30 p.m., the Wakiso District returning officer Tolbert Musinguzi called forward NRM's Ian Chaine to declare him the winner. As Ian Chaine stepped forward to be declared winner, NOPO's Nasif Naja immediately jumped and grabbed the microphone from the returning officer, preventing him from making the declaration. Nasif Naja insisted he was the rightful winner, but his protest was in vain, as security operatives intervened to restore order. Upon continued insistence to be declared winner, Nasif Naja was forcefully dragged out of the tally room. Although security operatives initially faced resistance,
declare him, yes, I won the election. Sure. I've lost enough. You have to kill me. Please come out. I am not coming out.
Upon continued insistence to be declared winner, Nasif Naja was forcefully dragged out of the tally room. Although security operatives initially faced resistance,
Who do you think I am? Because you're not mature enough to do what you want to do. No, my friend. No. No.
After order had been restored, National Resistance Movement's Ian Cheune was officially declared winner with 177,710 votes. Nopos Nasifu Naja came in the second position with 99,234 votes, while Flavian Nakafel of Democratic Front came in the third position with 10,597 votes.
Accordingly, as a returning officer for Wakiso electoral district, and according to section 157 of Government Act, I declare Cheune Ian Senrozi
After being declared winner, a jubilant Ian Cheune outlined some of the priorities he intends to address in Wakiso district.
People are still suffering from a lot of anxiety. They are lacking quite a lot of things, and they think okulabanga district eno yeyongeramu abagagga beyongera okuyingiramu bawa abaana baffe emirimu abantu baleme okkayanira ekintu kyatalinaako bwannannyini. Olabye enkayana ezibeerawo akantu katono oli n'akayana nnyo kubanga talina ssuubi kyalina ky'anaakola ekirala.
Ian Cheune promised to focus on job creation for the youth and raise the profile of Wakiso district during his tenure.
Naye ekintu ekikulu kye tulabye emirimu. Twagala okuteekawo senta y'emirimu. Abavubuka bano beetaaga emirimu ate n'abazadde balumwa nnyo ng'abaana baabwe basomye nga tebafunye emirimu. So ekigendererwa kyaffe tugenda kuteekawo job center nga gwe alina omwana ng'amaze okusoma muleete mu job center. Bw'amala okwewandiisa wanaabangawo omulimu gwonna tujjanga baweereza message nga tuyita mu job center. Ate n'oyo akola emirimu egy'embavu naye asobola okujja neyewandiisa. Bw'abaawo ayagala abantu ab'okusima emifulejje, ab'okukola nga bapoota ku site n'ebirala nabo bajja kufuna.
He later joined his supporters who were gathered outside the Terrace Center celebrating his victory. Deborah Namamonde, Tanaba Kenneth, UBC News.
The National Resistance Movement has registered a major victory in Lira City after its flag bearer, Sam Atul, was declared winner of the mayor race. Atul secured a second term after beating 8 other contenders. Ediolwa with more.
Sam Atul of the National Resistance Movement has been declared the winner of the Lira City mayoral race. The results were announced on Friday morning by the Lira City returning officer Agre Peto at the City Tally Center. Atul polled 16,905 votes, defeating his closest rival, UPC's Michael Gwangolwa, who garnered 11,752 votes, along with the 7 other candidates.
I'm excited, but also this is a testimony that the people have appreciated the good work we've done in the last 4 years and 7 months. According to our electoral area, I won in all the 49 wards in Lira City, so that means I owe a lot.
Atul says his administration will focus on infrastructure development, particularly improving road mobility within the city.
The common person saw a grader that was bought out of local revenue, saw a roller that was bought out of the local revenue, but in the first year of our term, we shall be dealing with all the bottlenecks on our Maram roads.
Lira City was among the 10 municipalities granted a city status in 2020.
Once that industrial park comes, we believe many industries will come to Lira, in addition to what we already have. Opportunities for employment will be there, and also opportunity for value addition in our agricultural products will increase. Lira sits at a very unique location. If you're in Lira, you can connect to Southern Sudan, you can connect to Congo, you can connect to the border of Kenya. So we are seeing an opportunity that is coming to us if we can prepare ourselves well to be able to access these markets that are near us.
The mayor-elect has also pledged to involve the youth in development programs, saying government interventions will be leveraged to improve their economic status.
I want to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, who has promised us that he's going to increase the allocation for PDM to 200 million. 30% that used to go to the young people would have doubled. Even the additional 30% that goes to the women, there are many young people in it. We want to pick on the idea of urban farming, where you use a small piece of land, at least to be able to produce more.
As the dust settles on the polls, attention now shifts from politics to service delivery, with the residents of Lira City looking to Samatul's second term to translate promises into tangible development. Edi Ulwa, UBC News.
Namutumba district recently delivered one of the most stunning political outcomes of the elections, with not a single NRM flag bearer making it to parliament. Across all constituencies, independents swept the vote following growing claims of fraud and mismanagement during party primaries. Tonight, we unpack how internal party disputes turned into a district-wide voter revolt.
What started as isolated complaints quickly became a full-blown political protest. In Namutumba district, voters rejected every officially declared NRM flag bearer, handing victory to independents across all constituencies. We are not for NRM. At the center of the storm was Bukono County, where Passis Princess Namganza was controversially denied the NRM flag, a decision her supporters described as fraudulent.
Maganda Emmanuel Katoko, who had won, still won with 20,512, defeating Namuganza Passis hands down.
Many believed her political career was finished. It was not. Namuganza ran as an independent and won. But Bukono was only part of the story. In the district's woman MP race, independent Nakisita Betty defeated incumbent Mariam Naigaga, who critics say fraudulently acquired the NRM flag. In Busiki County, independent Joel Waiswa Azalwa defeated Paul Akamba, the party flag bearer, while in Busiki North, Kayogera Yona followed the same path, defeating the NRM candidate, Isiko Mpongo. One by one, all NRM flag bearers fell, leaving the ruling party without a single MP from Namutumba. Party members had raised concerns earlier, accusing the NRM Electoral Commission of imposing candidates and sidelining grassroots choice. The matter reached national attention during President Yoweri Museveni's campaign in Namutumba. The NRM district vice chairperson accused Dr. Tanga Odoi of declaring flag bearers from outside the district. Soon after, party leadership softened its stance on independence, acknowledging Namutumba as a special case.
We are encouraging the independents to reconsider their stand. But in the worst case scenario, if they proceed and go through election, all of them are indicating that they will be signing MOU with the party.
For Namganza, the victory came after years of political seclusion and even an attempted assassination.
Lira Road Police Station responded very fast.
Armed with faith, resilience and grassroots mobilization, she campaigned without a party machine, village to village. On election day, voters delivered a clear message. Namutumba was not voting against individuals, but against a process they no longer trusted.
We raised those issues with those people, and there is nothing they didn't know. They knew very well whatever happened in Namutumba, but they refused to address them.
Now questions linger. Will the NRM reform its primary elections to avoid another Namutumba scenario? And what lessons does this revolt hold for the ruling party going forward? Henry Okrut, UBC.
NRM candidates who went through in the just concluded elections in Buikwe district have applauded voters for turning up in big numbers and also voting President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and NRM candidates at different levels. They, however, asked voters to also turn up in big numbers for the remaining elections at different levels, as it was with the President and the Members of Parliament.
He, however, expressed concern over some figures in Buikwe district who failed his victory, citing divisions among party members.
Thank you for the support. We traversed the constituency together. We moved door to door. We moved person to person. We campaigned, and that is what was declared, though we are still consulting with the party lawyers to guide us on the next course of action. I want to believe, and I assert it, that in Buikwe, as NRM would have performed better, but because we have had the internal conflicts within the party, so we've continued that way with that internal division.
Isaac Sozi, who was the National Resistance Movement flag bearer for the Member of Parliament seat in Buikwe district, Lugazi municipality, has appreciated the people of Lugazi for the support towards the National Resistance Movement candidates, including the President, that saw him win the presidency. Sozi, who lost in the just concluded parliamentary elections, however, encouraged voters not to lose hope, but to participate in the remaining elections at different levels.
I'm aware most of you are tired. I've heard rumors, and I've heard you, some of you, not rumors actually. I've heard some of you saying, like you are tired of voting because I lost. No, we still have other lower local government positions. I want to appeal to all of you that we come together as a party, we go and support and vote our remaining flag bearers. There are still higher chances of all of them to win. Let's not get tired. We can still make it.
UBC TV reached the woman member of parliament elect for Buikwe district, Diana Mutasingwa, and he had this to say over the allegations.
I'm hearing so many things in the district, but as a candidate, as an NRM candidate who was the NRM flag bearer, whatever is I'm hearing on the ground is new to my ears. I also don't know what is happening. So whatever is being said, I'm not part of it. I don't know anything about it. So we need to be focused on the development and the service delivery that we are going to bring and that I'm going to bring as a leader in this second term.
Diana Mutasingwa also applauded the people of Buikwe district for turning up in big numbers on the polling day and promised them improved service delivery.
To thank the people of Buikwe for voting for me, for entrusting me, for giving me a vote of confidence by voting for me. I want to thank you for being there for me throughout this campaign trail and keeping their promise and voting for me. We are going to make sure that whatever we have done in the last term, we'll continue to do more in the next term. Issues of land issues, issues of roads, issues of water, issues of of schools, electricity. These issues are going to be addressed in the next term. We're going to make sure that most of the things that have not been done in the first term, the next term, 50% of these things will be done. So I want to extend my gratitude to the people of Buikwe for voting me and for coming out, for voting development, for voting leaders that are going to be able to be there for them. I want to assure you that this term will be a term of Hakuna Mchezo. We are going to work together as a team to make sure that development is brought in Buikwe and our people can be able to be, that service delivery will be able to reach the last person down in the village.
In the just concluded Member of Parliament elections, National Resistance Movement is there. Namutumba won the elections with 57,547 votes. Nabatanzi Farid of Nope came in the second position with 53,461 votes. Namwanga Lukia of FDC with 1,444 votes. Nankabira Harriet Independent with 1,464 votes. And Nantanda Madina, also an independent, scored 382 votes. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansuga, UBC News.
UBC News tonight. Local leaders in the Teso sub-region say that government's planned resumption of a livestock restocking program could help heal communities scarred by decades of conflict and economic collapse. But they warn that continued political support for the NRM party will depend on whether President Yoweri Museveni's pledge is fulfilled. We have the details.
For generations, cattle defined survival and status for the Teso people, paying school fees, fueling trade, and sustaining local industries.
We had meat packers in Soroti. This was in recognition of the fact that Teso economy survived on cattle keeping.
That way of life collapsed during years of insurgency, when raids wiped out herds and dismantled meat processing businesses. Local leaders now believe restocking could restore both livelihoods and identity.
The program, which is now being commenced, because LOCs have already captured the beneficiaries, that program is going to highly uplift the economy of the people of Teso.
Speaking to UBC, Member of Parliament elect for Kanyumu County Simon Peter Opolot emphasized that cattle are not just economic assets, but emotional ones.
If right now you give a man in Teso 5 million, I can assure you, one of the first things he will purchase will be livestock. So that's what I'm sure. I don't doubt it. Because they know livestock is their bank where they keep their money.
He described the program as something that would touch the heart of the community, reconnecting families to traditions passed down through generations.
If President Museveni fulfills that, which I'm sure he's going to fulfill, the people of Teso will continue voting him into power until he says, I don't want anymore. They will vote him and vote him and vote him because this is what they want. Cattle with the Teso, with the Teso.
President Museveni first announced the plan during his campaign tour, but implementation was halted for elections.
The president, in his wisdom, halted this program until elections are over, so that under sober circumstances, we begin to pick the beneficiaries, the first beneficiaries of the restocking program. So these are not just promises, these are already programs which have already started.
State Minister for Northern Uganda, Dr. Kenneth Omona, says the first phase will target vulnerable households, with each receiving support worth up to 5 million shillings.
Cabinet has resolved that every household in Teso, Acholi and Karamoja, Acholi, Lango and Teso, are going to be given 5 cows. Every household will be given 5 cows. Cabinet also resolved that the average cost per animal will be 1 million. So meaning every household is going to be given 5 million shillings.
Oku Joseph, UBC.
Thank you, Uncle Joseph. Music and events promoters, like many other organized groups across the country, benefited from a government revolving fund disbursed through the Microfinance Support Center, following capacity building initiatives aimed at strengthening financial management. Out of the 10 billion shillings to be disbursed to music promoters, the Uganda Music Promoters SACCO has so far received 1.5 billion shillings under the program. However, recent allegations have emerged accusing the SACCO's leadership of mismanaging the government funds with some government officials. UBC spoke to the SACCO president, popularly known as Abitex, who dismissed the claims, insisting that the money was properly received on the SACCO's account and all is set to benefit its members. He further says that the allegations are false and driven by selfish interests.
Sente ne balirizinga 1.5 1 billion yemu n'ekitundu negenda ku sakeri baramugirali ne SACCO gyendi eno gyenkulembera awo wetuli Mr. Mujunyi ayina likodi ye ffe tubadde tetugendangayo nga bapromota talina kigambo kyonna kyamuva mu kamwa nga kyefaananyiriza okuba nga ayagala sente era nga sente zaaki nga mukama we president alagidde yatunyonyola bunyonyozi nti sente zigenda kujja mu phases ng'era enkola ya gavumenti bwebeera tuzze wano okusambajja n'okutereeza erinnya lya aboogerwako ku sente zaffe za SACCO naddala Mr. Mujunyi talina sente zonna kuba nze mbadde njogera naye n'omwami gwe bayita Lubulwa Moses kuba nze nkulembera ekiwaayi kya Uganda Music Promoters SACCO ye yakulembera ekibinja kiri ekya SACCO gyesimanyiko.
We have brought in the Ministry of Trade, that is under cooperatives, to teach them the norms of SACCOs, the norms of society. Okay, this time the president gave them money. What type of money is it? Was it a loan? Was it a grant? And if it was a grant, what type of a grant? Will they pay back the money to the government, or it's a what? This money is a revolving fund. It's like a seed capital. Like, have this money. It's like your father would give you a portion of land and say, please, settle, build, start your own life. It's a startup. So now this startup, some people may think that was given so that they may line up and share. Others may, and there has always been that kind of mistrust. Now, that mistrust can only be dealt with when teachings like cooperation, integrity, transparency comes.
I don't make you happy. All that time you would be complaining. I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby dondolo.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondolo. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Unisteel Investment Uganda Limited, shaping the future of steel in East Africa and beyond. With an investment of over $100 million and a production capacity of 300,000 metric tons per annum, Unisteel is setting new standards in steel manufacturing. At our state-of-art facility, we produce TMX rebars, branded Unis TMX 500 CWR, and high-quality wire rods using only imported virgin steel billets. Every batch is tested and tracked for unmatched quality assurance. Our steel powers the region's most ambitious projects, from dams, skyscrapers, to bridges and beyond. Unisteel, superior quality, trustworthy choice.
Starting with 100,000 shillings, you begin building real financial strength, because wealth doesn't just happen, you build it. And the ones who start early end up ahead. Every deposit, every month, every little increase. This is how your money grows into wealth. Put your money to work with the experts at SBG Securities. Partner with us today on your investment journey.
SBG Securities. Keep growing for you, for them, forever.
This is our home, our land, our Uganda. From the rolling hills to the busy streets, from the farmers in the fields to the students in classrooms, we are one people. Elections are a time to choose our leaders, not to fight our brothers and sisters. When violence enters the ballot box, the future of our country is wounded. But when peace leads the way, our nation grows stronger. On election day, choose unity over diversion, respect over hatred, and dialogue over distraction. Love your country, protect your fellow citizens, stand for peace, and say no to electoral violence. This message is brought to you by the Global Election Observation Mission, GEOM, in partnership with the Uganda Electoral Commission. Informed citizens, strong nation.
Kabogos, where are you coming from?
From NSSF.
NSSF? You traveled all the way from Namaguni to get NSSF services. They can away. You walk on the area. NSSF is now everywhere. Come on, I show you. Yakabande pakabanda. You can register for NSSF. How contributing your simate life? Now deep down in the barara. Make NSSF payments. No wahala okubeka rangala. NSSF sure is not far. But tomorrow kuhika gochido. Enjoy NSSF from where you are.
Access NSSF services right where you live. With over 20,000 quick teller agents across Uganda, now you can conveniently register yourself, make NSSF payments and contributions to your Smart Life account to Lira. NSSF, a better life.
Welcome back from that break. The Central Corridor Transportation Facilitation Agency and the Northern Corridor Transit and Transportation Coordination Authority have signed a landmark memorandum of understanding aimed at strengthening multimodal connectivity, promoting green economic development corridors, advancing digitalization, enhancing trade facilitation, and integrating regional infrastructure. Once viewed as rival trade routes, one anchored at Port of Dar es Salaam and the other at the Port of Mombasa, the two corridors are now charting a new course.
The Central Corridor Transit Transport Facilitation Agency and the Northern Corridor Transit and Transport Coordination Authority have formalized the cooperation framework intended to deepen coordination between Africa's two most critical transport corridors. The memorandum was signed at the headquarters of the Northern Corridor in Kenya's coastal city of Mombasa by Advocate Florio Kanju, Executive Secretary of the Central Corridor, and Dr. John Deng Diading, Executive Secretary of the Northern Corridor.
Of specific interest is the inland water transportation. We all know that we share Lake Victoria with a number of ports around it, and so it is in the interest of the region that the mass mobility of goods and services is actually transferred toward the lake because not only does it decongest our roads, it also protects our environment.
Navigation, aids, chart, and so on. We cannot develop such a project, those projects, if we don't have this framework, because Tanzania is a member, is not a member of the Northern Corridor, and Kenya is not a member of the Central Corridor.
The agreement follows Dr. Diading's visit to the Central Corridor Secretariat in September last year, where the two chief executives held discussions on strengthening regional development and logistics coordination. With 4 shared member states, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Burundi and Uganda, the partnership is widely seen as a new dawn for regional trade and logistics. It is expected to improve efficiency, lower the cost of trade, and accelerate regional integration and sustainable economic growth.
The area of cooperation, as simple as I say, my brother, we have non-tariff barriers, which will facilitate the trade. We have infrastructure, transport infrastructure, roadside station, dry port, railway. Why not railway?
The collaboration aligns with key continental and global practices, including the African Continental Free Trade Area, the African Union's Agenda 2063, and the Sustainable Development Goals 2030. It reinforces the role of corridor cooperation in lowering logistics costs, reducing emissions, and strengthening regional value chains.
Other areas are specific. There could be one of which like the removal of non-tariff barriers, which is something that emanates from the interaction between the trade. And so we have agreed in principle that we have to join a common frontier in addressing these issues that affect trade.
Following the signing of the MOU, focus now shifts to implementation, translating this commitment into practical, results-driven outcomes for governments, the private sector, and corridor users.
The Board, Management and Staff of Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority, PPDA, congratulate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and all Ugandans on the 40th anniversary of the National Resistance Movement, NRM. We proudly associate with the milestones attained under the NRM and reaffirm our commitment to supporting government programs in line with our mantra, regulating for results.
Special announcement. The NRM Secretariat wishes to sincerely appreciate all Ugandans for re-electing President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and majority of NRM parliamentary flag bearers in the recent concluded elections to lead the country for the next 5 years. As we continue to celebrate the attained victory, the NRM Secretariat also wishes to remind all Ugandans and the general public that elections for the district chairpersons, Kampala Lord Mayor, mayors and councillors will take place on Thursday, the 22nd of January 2026, while voting for the municipality, city division chairpersons and councillors will be held on the 27th of January 2026 across the country. Let us stand up and vote to assert our choices as we protect our gains. Long live President Museveni, long live NRM. This message is brought to you by the NRM Secretariat.
And into sports, the National Council of Sport has given non-adherent sports federations and associations up to June this year to fulfill all requirements or be degazetted. This was during a news conference at the Copper Chimney in Lugogo, addressed by the General Secretary Dr. Bernard Patrick Ogwell.
On 17th August 2023, President Yoweri Museveni assented to the National Sports Act Cap 151. By that time, National Council of Sports recognized 51 national sports associations and federations. In line with Section 81, subsection 5 of the Act, these were required to apply for registration for purposes of compliance with the new legal framework. Of these, only 45 submitted applications for registration and were put in the Uganda Gazette, with members of the public invited to lodge objections. Uganda Frisbee Association, Uganda Floorball Federation, Uganda Deaf Sports Federation, Association of Uganda University Sports, Uganda Rollball Association, and Uganda Bodybuilding and Fitness Association didn't submit applications for registration.
National Council of Sport shall follow the new legal process as prescribed by law to resolve the status of those 6 non-compliant entities independently.
National Council of Sports received 8 objections in respect of the applications. These were from Uganda Boxing Federation, Uganda Table Tennis Association, Cricket Uganda, Uganda Darts Association, Uganda Drafts Federation, Uganda Lacrosse Association, Uganda Rowing Federation, and VX Uganda.
The 8 applications against which objections were lodged and additional information availed were received, reviewed, and assessed after National Council of Sports had duly determined the objections. Indeed, National Council of Sports has duly concluded this exercise, and the parties dissatisfied with the decision of NCS have a right to appeal to the Minister of State for Education and Sports, in charge of sports, in accordance with the Act and regulations. In a nutshell, we have already written to them the objections following the dissatisfaction of the applicants, and the matter can now only be referred to the Honorable Minister. So the 8 are exceptions in this regard, that they cannot be registered unless they have addressed the issues raised in the objections, which to us has been found valid.
Amidst all this, National Council of Sports carried out a preliminary desk review as well as due diligence around the country in 115 districts to establish the nationwide spread. The review revealed gaps that had to be filled, but only 42 of the 45 federations responded, with the Scrabble Association of Uganda, VX Uganda, and Uganda Handball Association non-responsive. During the registration exercise, National Council of Sports encountered challenges like widespread non-compliance, limited institutional capacity, delayed and incomplete submissions, and governance and internal disputes. Ultimately, National Council of Sports prepared 37 final registration reports, with non-compliant organizations granted a remedial compliance period of 5 months to satisfy the outstanding statutory requirements.
Failure to attain full compliance within the stipulated period shall result in 1. Automatic rejection of the application for registration, and 2. Revocation of the organization certificate of recognition in accordance with the Act and regulations.
This ongoing transition is a critical legal and institutional reform intended to strengthen governance, accountability, transparency, and national character within Uganda's sports sector.
And with that, UBC News Tonight has come to an end. Thank you so much for your company. On behalf of the team working tirelessly behind the scenes, we do wish you a good night.
UBC Inspire.